G'day, everyone, and welcome to episode 104 of Wind Against Tide. The weather has heated up lately and the fishing's pretty red hot, Joey. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm pretty excited to be here tonight, Dave. It's there's so much going on in the wonderful world of fishing, and we have got a huge show in store for you today. We've got Mr. Dreamcatcher Richie Abela, who's going to be joining us shortly to give us a hot Marlin update. He's been up and down the Marlin coast. Hopefully he got his mail from me, because I sent him up a few Marlin flags because I thought he might be running out of them.
Sounds like he might be. All right, well, Richie's actually hanging around on the line waiting for us. He hasn't even been out for dinner yet, which absolutely shocked Joe, because it's 8 p.m. and we just would not be able to function this late without dinner. But we've got Richie waiting on the line. He's up there somewhere on the coast. He's had a blinding start to his Marlin season. If anybody doesn't have a boat, they want to get stuck into this amazing Marlin bite, give Richie a call, because he's got some spots free at the moment. But in the meantime, we're going to get a bit of a live update from Joey. Richie, how are you going, my friend?
Good, mate. How's things?
Pretty well. Wish we were up there. Where are you at the moment? You're the travelling Marlin man.
Yeah, I'm actually based in the Rumour at the moment. Centralised place, fishing fairly consistent north and south of here at the moment. So I've just based myself here, and it's been working so far, and don't fix it if it ain't broke.
What's your stats for the start of your season? How many captures, releases?
Oh, geez, we've had a great run from a client point of view. We've fished 4 days. We've landed 17. I think we've probably blown maybe 3 or 4. We've seen, oh my God, I've actually lost count how many we've seen. So there's been days where, we might catch 4 or 5, but we'll see 15, 20 that just, they're not interested in feeding, sitting on the top, feeding on souries, or, just tailing on the surface, as we call it with Marlin, just running down sea. You'll see that big blade, that big tail fin ripping through the water, and you're just sitting there and everyone's pointing, oh, there's Marlin. We sort of turn towards it. Sometimes we get a bite out of them, but usually it's just a good indication that there's fish in the zone.
When they're on the souries, is like a skip bait or trolling technique better than a slow troll live bait?
Look, both work well, and on any given day, they need to be swapped and changed. And look, definitely when the fish are up on the surface and they're moving around, sometimes the skip bait technique really gets them going, because, you're covering the ground. You get that aggressive bite. You've got that bait bouncing on the surface, Yep. Sometimes the live bait, as much as it's great presented bait and it's natural and it's alive, you'd be surprised how many times we fish better with a dead bait skipping on the surface looking like it's wounded than an actual live bait.
Yeah. So which port's been the pick of the bunch for the start of the season, Richie?
Oh, look, I'd have to probably say Bateman's Bay. Even though I'm based in the Rumour, I'm sort of heading up that way.
Yep.
So, I'm not fishing straight out the front in the Rumour, and most of the Burmese boats are all heading up my way as well. So, that's an indication that it's not fishing super well down south yet, but it will. By all indications, there's going to be a really good bite down at Eden. So, the water's looking really, really good down south. And if I had to be a gambling man, I'd say there's plenty of fish down there already. But it's the same old scenario, Dave. You know it, mate. You don't leave fish to find fish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Richie, so what actually is your read on the current rip charts or the water current situation at the moment? What's your kind of snapshot on it all?
Look, it's looking pretty good. It's staying stable. A couple of weeks ago, it was really unstable. And what I mean by that, you get little pockets that start to shape up and look good, out of a particular port like Ulladulla or JB, which had an incredible bite there going back a couple of weeks ago. Everybody was into them, and the charts reflected that situation I had there, but it didn't take much to change, and that was that was due to what we call, for the viewers out there, listeners, I should say, that don't know, a thing called an eddy. Like you get these big pushes of water. It's just imagine like a big whirlpool sort of effect going on out there. But we're talking about like it could be 80 mile, 100 mile of water, and that's swirling around out there, and that's influencing the water inshore, and sometimes that pushes in a little bit too close and gets that current really ripping through there and sort of moves things along and starts setting them up further down the coast.
That's a really good insight.
Yeah.
So it's looking like perhaps Eden could be the next hotspot from what you're saying on the maps.
Yeah, there's definitely good indications that that's the case, and I personally know of some people that sort of have done well already down in that zone, sort of between Merimbula and Eden. So, it's pretty on cue to fish well. I'd say, look, this season's a bit different than other seasons in a couple of seasons gone by. Like it's a little bit of a unique season so far, in the fact that there's not X marks the spot like it normally does, where you sort of seem to get this one area. It could be Burmy, could be Eden, or could be Jarvis Bay, that seems to be producing all the good results. This season, it can be on the same day. You can have a really, really hot bite off, say, Ulladulla JB, Jarvis Bay, abbreviated for those that don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And on the same day, we'll be doing good off Narooma. And, there'll be a few fishing candidates, say, down south of Tafra. So that's something different that we haven't experienced in the last couple of seasons. And that's due, to the way the water's pushing and due to the current and how that's setting up. It's actually setting it up in a few places. So creating basically, in effect, a couple of hotspots.
Amazing.
And Richie, what do you think of that Marlin last week caught off Lake's entrance, the 96 kilo one? Got any thoughts of what the water might be doing pushing into Victoria?
Well, that's not a surprising thing when you have a look at the current charts. Like, and catching fish off Lake's entrance isn't anything new. I mean, the fact that he caught it on electric reel is hysterical. So I dare say they weren't fishing for it and they were deep dropping, and Marlin's probably taken a liking to one of the fish that he's coming up with and come down and either got foul hooked or I'm not really sure how he hooked it, but I'm only guessing at the moment. But that's generally what happens when you hook a fish on in that situation. But look, I've had days off Lake's entrance where I've caught 6 in a day, so it's not really like anything like newsworthy in that regard. That it's a special thing, but it just shows that water's pushing a fair way south. And there's every chance that there, in and around those rigs where the bait aggregates, there's probably a few more fish there if you had to put some time in.
Hey, I've heard a couple of people mention the fish this season have been particularly large. Have you found that?
We've caught a couple of really good ones. I wouldn't say they're particularly large this season as opposed to other seasons. There's always a mix, and on any given day we will catch some good ones and then we'll catch some not so good ones. Well, they're all good to me, but what I mean by that is, you'll get your average 70 to sort of 100 kilo ones, and then, all of a sudden you'll get a couple of bruises that will sort of nudge 120 to 140 kilo, and all about it. You can see the difference. I put a photo up on my Facebook page the other day, and one probably in the 120, 130 kilo mark, and you can just see how thick it is in compared to the rest of them, and they just look impressive,
Yeah, incredible. Once they get that bit bigger, they get that big hump on their head, and they're a different animal completely. So I know that you're probably not going to be with us for too much longer, but I'll get one more question in here. When you do hook a marlin, how do you go about landing it as quickly as possible in order to first of all let the fish go in the best health that you can, and second of all because you want to get your baits back in the water and catch some more?
Look, first and foremost, we try to keep the fish as healthy as humanly possible, when you're fighting a fish. So, we're giving chase with the boat. We're not sitting there with a dead boat. I know some sort of, newcomers sort of tend to do that. We try not to let the fish get too much line on us if possible. That's sometimes not always doable when you get a double or a triple or something like that. We've already had a couple of doubles this season. one goes north, one goes south. You're sort of stuck in the middle.
Yep.
But, from the get-go, we're sort of giving chase, trying to get close to that fish. We want to catch him as quick as possible so that when we do release him, he's got plenty of power to swim off and, equalise and get himself right, So, giving chase and definitely not fishing, not fishing from a dead boat. And generally, I see this a lot with some of the novices, and obviously they don't know any difference. That's not their fault, but they'll hook a fish, and the fish is heading south, and the boat heads north for an extraordinary amount of time
Yep.
before they start to turn around. I'll be watching this fish, and I've got more chance of tagging it when it's next to me. They're heading the opposite direction. I'm like, what the hell?
What about yeah? What about, I've heard if you pull the fish into the current and fight it that way, it tires the fish out quicker. Do you adhere to that?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you know which way the current is, and I can tell you right now, there wouldn't be too many people that would actually know which way the current's going.
Yeah.
Because wind and current are two different things, and sometimes you can have the wind going against the current. So that's a chart thing. But look, at the moment here, we actually haven't got a lot of current, so probably that isn't going to do much good for you, Dave, at the moment, because you look at sort of the fish traps that we got fishing out of Turos Canyons here at the moment, and they got 4 floats on them, and 4 floats are just sitting there bobbing on the surface. So there's very little current at the moment, which is why the fish are here, which is why the bait's congregating, and that's sort of what we're looking for. We need a bit of current, but, when it starts roaring and raging, that's when the bait vanishes and things move on. So what you're saying is correct. If if you've got a fair bit of current and you hook a fish and you run him into the current, then he's going to tire. You try swim, you try walking against water that's coming at you, it's going to make you tired.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm too busy if I hook one just driving around like a lunatic trying to keep up to it to be testing current directions and stuff. So yeah, you're right.
Oh, look, one of the tips that I probably would, and it really is the same as a barrel, more or less. You know what I mean? Like any really big game fish, if you're not getting any line and he's not taking any line, and it's a little bit of a stalemate, that means he's comfortable. And you don't want him comfortable, because him being comfortable can take a long time. And so a change of direction, turn the boat, go the opposite way, pull him back the other way will usually do the trick, bring him up to the top and make him start swimming again and get out of that comfort zone. Like I try to never let a fish get comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I suppose from the outside in, looking at a marlin fishery, it probably looks like they're not massively hard fighters because people are landing them quickly. But if you let a large stripe or black sit down there on its side using its weight and just plugging away, you'll take hours upon hours to get them in. So exactly what you're saying.
Oh my God, absolutely.
They're a strong fish.
If you fight them from a dead boat, they will empty your reel.
Yep.
They 100%. Will empty. Mate, the other day I was chasing one, and I reckon I chased him for about 2 kilometres, and I was doing at least 20, 30 kilometres an hour, and we were losing line. They are a super duper powerful fish, and make no mistake, if they had to take you down deep like a tuna does and stay down there, you've got an hour or so trying to get him up.
Yep.
Not to mention it might even attract a shark. I've heard of people on bit long marlin fights and they just get sharked.
Yeah, there was one taken the other day. Yeah, one of the guys, a fellow dollar, lost the maker, come and lopped off its tail during the fight. So that's getting more and more common as the season goes on.
Incredible.
Hey, I got a quick one for you, Richie. When you roll into a town, you seem to be a really popular man that people love to call on the radio. Like I've heard that they ask you everything. What'd you have for breakfast, Richie? What are you having for dinner? You want to come over for a barbecue? Do you want to?
I don't mind the barbecue invites.
Yeah, do you want to come and baptize my firstborn? Like that's how much of a popular man you are.
Yeah, I have actually heard it all, but look, I try and help as many people as I can, mate. I try not to be that person that, just brushes people off. But, there's only so much time you have in a day sometimes. And, it's not always that easy. But, I get quite a lot of questions thrown at me, not just on the radio, but on all the social media channels and stuff like that. And, it can get a bit tiresome sometimes, but I do my best to help people.
Joe gets the same when people want to know how to cook a good hamburger. His phone lights up.
It does. I mean, yeah. I think I've nailed it. But anyways.
I've definitely got plenty of availability this season. So, like bookings have been a little bit on the downside. Obviously, people are feeling the pinch with interest rates and everything else. So if anyone is feeling like they want to come up and experience what we're doing up here at the moment, which is pretty amazing, the season's actually looking like it's going to be an absolute ripper. Definitely give me a call on the blower and get a group and book a couple of days.
What's the weather looking like over the next 7 days with anybody joining us tonight that's thinking about coming up?
The next week's really good. Like we've just come off the back of 2 pretty crappy days, and I've been on shore for 2 days. But yeah, next week's looking pretty good at the moment. Definitely, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Can't sort of rely on anything beyond that, but it's definitely looking pretty good.
How many people do you need to take a group out?
Oh, look, I can take anything from 1 to 5. It's obviously, the more people on board, you're going to be able to split the costs up a bit more, and that helps it, with a lot of guys. But I get clients that just book the boat on their own and don't want anybody else on board. And but yeah, I can take up to 5 people. Or that's a full boat.
I'm thinking wind against tide viewer trip. Is that what you're thinking, Joe?
Yeah, definitely.
Get up there and jump on with Richie and have a bit of a laugh. Richie, we're going to leave you to it because you are on your way out for a meal. What are you having for dinner, by the way? Where are we going?
I don't know, man. I'm eating at the Narooma pub at the moment, and I've got 15 minutes to order before they close the kitchen.
Oh, you better hurry up. All right, just go to Parma and mushroom gravy, done deal. And
I'm a specials man, Dave.
Yeah, I thought you would be, actually. Yeah.
Fish of the day, maybe.
All right, no worries, mate. You have a great evening and good luck for the rest of the season, and we will touch base. And we thank you for always being available for us and coming on and having a chat, and catch you next time.
You guys are always welcome, mate. Have a great evening, mate. Cheers.
See you, Richie. Bye.
Thanks, Richie.
Yeah, specials, man.
Well, there you go. Get a group of up to 5 anglers, jump in the car, have a road trip up to Narooma, get on board with one of the best in the business, Richard Abela, and you will not be disappointed if you're looking for a boys or girls getaway next week.
Absolutely, Joey.
Yeah, that sounds bloody good.
It does sound good.
I wish I had a 1, 2, 3 days available next week to do that.
I'll tell you what, it is quite a lot of work to prepare a boat and gear to go up there marlin fishing, especially since it's not a form of fishing we're doing frequently. So it's
seasonal.
Yeah. So you got to get all the traces ready.
And all the skip baits and all the hooks and all the fuel.
It's a hilly tow. You do wheel bearings and stuff. So if you've only got a couple of days spare and you want to be straight on the money, it is a very good option, Joe. You go up there and jump on with Richie. There's not too many times that he misses. And
17 fish in the last 4 days. Like I'd say your chances are pretty good if you jumped on board with him next week to get one. And not much current. When you go marlin fishing, if the current's roaring, that means that there's no bait. And there won't be any marlin. But Richie was just saying that there does seem to be not much current there at the moment.
He's got decades of experience. He's got all the charts, all the technology. He's got 7,000 friends updating him with every movement of every marlin in the world. So
and every barbecue and invite.
So he is generally on the money, our man Richie. So great option. And hopefully we're going to get up there ourselves at some point, Joey.
We will.
Thank you, everyone who's joined us tonight. We've got some familiar faces there. Simon, Michelle, Bo Ely. We've got Scott.
Haven't seen him for a while.
We've got Snoop Dogg. We've got Kim. Some absolute legends there on the live stream joining us tonight.
Do you like my shirt, Dave?
Joey. Oh, crap. Sorry, mate. You told me to bring up the shirt. Hang on. Let's pretend. Let's do this completely unscripted. Wow, Joe. What a wonderful shirt you have on this evening.
Oh, thanks. I really enjoy this shirt. It was it's one of the OG fishing shirts. I'm going to say from the 90s. I quite like it. It's better than that Lycra bike shorts crap that you wear, and I think this is more authentic. nice khaki collared shirt, looking distinguished. I do need a couple of flies. Can we arrange a couple of flies to put on my little pocket square for next week?
We can do this. Do you think this is a indication that you're moving into another stage of your life? Joe, you're moving out of the lycra tight shirt phase and into a nice collared fishing apparel.
Yeah. I just think it's OG fishing. Like there's been some famous fishing clothes over the year. Like I remember the early 1990s, they had the Shimano Chinook, the hoodie, with the Shimano across there, and it was like blue and white and with the green stripe. Freaking loved that jumper. They should bring that back, in fact.
There's been comparisons made with Steve Irwin and then corrected to Bindi. How do you feel about that?
I've actually met Bindi Irwin. I have played at Australia Zoo. It's a lovely Bindi and Terry Irwin. They do some fantastic work up there at Australia Zoo. Very nice people.
And she gave you a nice shirt to wear. Our own fishing, Joey. You haven't really been, have you?
I haven't been. I've been busy with real estate last weekend, but I heard, just to set the scene, on Saturday, there was about a gazillion boats out in Melbourne. At 5:30 in the morning on Saturday, we were getting messages that the boat trailer lineup at Stony Point was going all the way back to the general store. It's like a couple of kilometres away.
Mate, that was insane. I think it was Sean Dennehy showed a photo of that. And my first thought was, why are you there at 5 a.m.?
Yeah.
And second thought was, glad that I'm not in that line.
See if I can get it up.
You and I are both actually filthy salesmen these days.
I did get a message from Dave. I was like, Dave sells boats on Saturday, and I've been selling houses. But
so we were both
had a laugh
there
about that.
working on a Saturday, glass calm. But I finished at 1, and Joe, I don't know what he was doing. I think he went on to his gig.
No, I had to go to a wedding and play a gig. But look, Dave went fishing after work on Saturday. He finished boat selling, and
my plan was to do a tuna speed run, Joe. I wanted to see how quickly I could go from work to tuna. And then, as luck would have it, had a couple of lovely customers come in right on shutting time, which is always the case, isn't it? And they hung around for about half an hour. So that set me back. What I had to my advantage is my brother Tom was waiting on the water for me. I arrived to an extremely packed Stony Point ramp. Everyone was coming back in from their morning fishing. Some had fared well, some had quite long faces. And I was able to just stroll straight down that jetty and jump on the mighty Webster Twin Fisher, Joe.
It's got a sticker on it. Apparently it's the perfect fishing vessel.
The boat literally anoints itself the perfect fishing vessel. I'm not sure if that's really allowed, but it has decided that that's what it is. So, yeah, I jumped on with Tom. He was immediately furious with me because I made him go back because I left my phone in the car. But I needed it for filming purposes. Didn't I, Joey?
Yes, you did.
You can't go without your phone these days. And then we made our way out the eastern entrance of Western Port. On the way, I saw another poor soul who had come a cropper on the rocky mud banks there at San Remo. You see them quite frequently. It's, it happens to the best of us. Not me, but it happens.
The mud banks of San Remo. So, yeah, the tide was low and the boat was stuck.
She's claimed a lot of victims, Old Western Port. So we waved to them on the way through and said, have a good 10 more hours stuck there while you wait for the tide. No, not 10 hours, but a bit of a wait. And we cruised through the entrance. It was probably about 3 p.m. by this point. And I reckon within about 15 minutes of being at that entrance, I spotted the first school of ripple dogs. So Joey's got a little excerpt of the footage that I actually took on that day. Because once we approached the fish and they were being a little bit shy on the lures, I thought, stuff this, I'm putting the drone in the air, I'm going to capture them on film.
There's some massive flashes of white bellies underneath this free schooling tuna that you can see up on your screen. This is National Geographic worthy, Davey.
It is. On the wide angle, you can actually see just how much of a bulk of fish there is there, Joe. It's crazy. And there was patches like this all over the place. And the feedback I'm getting is that it's like this the whole way along the coast at the moment.
Like, what are they doing?
Everyone's got a theory, and everyone's got a way that you can catch them because it worked for them once.
But just to put things real simple, there's literally on your screen thousands and thousands of juvenile bluefin tuna. Some of them not so small, actually. I'd say this school's about in that 20 to 30 kilo range. And there's just thousands of them just sunning themselves up on the water, up on their sides. They're not necessarily always feeding. Sometimes they're just basking in the sun. And these patches of bluefin tuna are just scattered, around Metro Melbourne and all the way down our coast. Back in the day, we would have to dress in winter clothing and drive 4 or 5 hours to go to Portland, Warrnambool, all down that far southwest coast. But nowadays, there's the most incredible run of summer southern bluefin tuna available to trailer boat fishermen just out of local Melbourne waters. It is seriously an incredible phenomenon.
You know what it is, Joe? They can be hard to catch when they're like that. They're not always. But if you persist and maybe work between a few different schools of fish, eventually you'll get at least one or a few of them to feed, which is pretty much what we did. Actually, while I was filming that drone footage, a nice guy came up in his boat solo with his puppy dog and said he was pulling his hair out because he couldn't get them to feed. And we found the same at the start, and then we just persisted, Joe. We tried top water for quite a while without any success, so we switched to trolling, and by doing that, we started to get a few bites here and there. We had a horrible hookup rate, though. We dropped like 4 or 5 fish, but
wow,
anyway.
that much. Was it weird trolling? Oh, you did say it was all casting. A bit of both?
No, I pulled the hooks on the troll 3 or 4 times. We actually had a very good fish on for about half an hour, Joe, potentially longer.
Oh, I reckon I can even bring that up on the screen too. That was
I think I did
incredible.
send you the footage.
Yep.
And that fish was heavy. I've never had to turn the boat and chase a school fish in this summer fishery before, and it was peeling quite a lot of line. The spool was half empty, and I said to Tom, we got to turn and probably get some line back on this fish. And there you go. Got audio on that one?
No, it's okay. But you can see that looks like a size. I don't know what's that. 14,000.
You know where Tom got that reel from, Joey?
Yeah,
that's a Yaya special.
Yeah. I hope that the old boy's getting better. Yeah, because he's gone through an awful trot at the minute.
The lads didn't spool it so good though because it started to dig the braid into the spool and.
So it's a bright orange, like you're ready to go to Summer Days Dance Festival. It's a bright fluoro orange reel, and it's about size 14,000, and it's got.
I'd say the equivalent of about a 14,000. So it's had 37 kilo braid, so quite a reasonable setup, and quite a reasonably heavy rod. So for that to not be able to move the fish,
man, that spool's half empty.
And then another boat nearby had a similar experience. So there could be some larger fish there for sure, Joe. So anyway, we had some weird head shakes on that fish, and then not long after it broke the shock leader. So I think potentially it might have got tail wrapped and then broke the managed to get it tangled in the shock leader and snapped it.
And we are getting we're going to get to your questions a bit later on, but we have been getting a lot of fan mail about the tuna. And look, I'm just going to say it, Dave. One of the things that you actually did with these summer bluefin tuna, you don't have to be the first boat at the ramp at 5 a.m. putting in. Quite often what happens, the bulk of people will launch first thing in the morning, charge out that entrance. And right now at the moment, you can't see these tuna are not on birds. Normally, when you go out into the ocean, you can see the birds hitting the water, and that usually indicates that tuna are there. But these summer sunning fish, they're on their own. And in our experience, we find the best time of the day to target these fish is in the middle of the day when around 12 o'clock, when the sun is at its highest point, and if there's no cloud cover, you will have the best visibility of seeing these fish actually physically with your own eyes. Some people will put the lures on and trawl around all day and not see anything, just around some of the locations that have been named of where they're caught, but you really have to see the fish with your eyes, or if you can't see them with your eyes and there is a bit of cloud cover, you want to trust your electronics to pick up the school of fish coming through at the time. So you don't need to race on out early in the morning. You can start in the afternoon, and even in the late evening, the fish sometimes do come on for a last hurrah and a really aggressive sunset bite.
I want to know if anyone on the live chat here, or even if you listen to this back later on, you want to send in a message. Have you ever had a cursed boat? Because I've had cursed anglers before, but this boat I think was tuna cursed, because Tom's had it out quite a lot of times, not managed to actually land a tuna in it, and then, gosh, did they make us work hard to get one in the boat the other day. I managed to get one on a top water lure right on the death knock, which was actually an epic bloody bite, Joey. A bigger fish came out, tried to snaffle my popper, and then got bloody barraged by another one about halfway back in. It was awesome. But eventually, yeah, we managed to deck one. But I really think that this boat had a tuna curse, and hopefully now that's broken, it will absolutely smash the fish from here on forward.
Man, love it. That's good.
You were a cursed tuna angler for a while, Joe, and then we snapped you out of it.
Yeah, definitely. I was having the most terrible time on the barrels, but then the drought broke and I caught 3 of them in 1 year.
You did?
Thanks to you. Mainly thanks to you.
You went without me and got a couple in a day.
Oh,
as
no,
well.
I did. Yeah, I did. That's right. Gee,
Yeah, with Sean. Good mate, Sean.
Yeah, he's
There's
good.
some good chat going on in there in the chat room. Suraj and Michelle having some sort of connection going on.
Hey, Simon Webby's in the chat room. Can we talk about Simon Webby for just one moment?
Oh, yeah.
While I get that up on the screen.
Simon of Webster's Furniture in Bairnsdale, he sent through a video because he has a GoPro recording on his rocket launcher, and he catches everything that happens on that boat. And he hooked something and then it bit him off. And well, there you go. Have a look there up on your screen. There's some swearing going on. Momentarily after bitten off, a shark launches in the air. And initially...
And he texted through, actually.
He said it was a mako, and I fish scienced him and said, no, sir, that is not a mako. It's a great white. And you know how I know that, Joseph?
Tell me.
Because it's great and it's white. No, because it's got dark...
Well, it is very white underneath the surface.
Well, if you have a look at the underneath the bottom of the pec fins, there's like a black, the corner of the pec fins is black. Makos don't have that. Great whites do. So there you go.
So he hooked it. Was he fishing for snapper? Was he?
I believe so. Yeah. Simon
Nice.
will tell us. He's there.
Yeah.
He was nearly killed, as you can see. That thing was trying to get him.
So it's broken the line and then it's done a somersault out of the water, or a big jump, I should say, after it snapped off. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. So I want to know, Joe, are sharks becoming more of an issue? And I thought of this as a bit of a topic a bit earlier, and then funnily enough, since then, we've had Chris Cassardades put up a video of a tuna with its tail bitten off.
Oh, really?
And Richie's just mentioned that a marlin up north's been bitten off. And I also saw good friend Mark Sullivan, who's been on this podcast, the fella that had the unfortunate incident with a whale.
Oh, who's absolutely slamming the marlin at the moment. Mark Sullivan up in Brisbane there.
Oh, well, there it is. There's the mako.
There you go.
So Chris has had a tuna attacked by a mako, and then they've caught the mako.
Are you enjoying my new technology that we've employed?
I really like it. Yeah,
I can be right across everything, Dave. I can save you hours. Anyways, we've got a.
So yeah, but what I was saying is Mark up there in Queensland said the sharks are getting a bit out of control as well. So do you think that it's going to become more and more of an issue, Joe? And what is there to be done?
Well, look,
Shark whacking day.
Look, I think we know that sharks are one of those types of predators that they can sense a dying fish from kilometers away. If you've got a marlin or a tuna and that fight is prolonged for a while, like that shark is picking up that sense from kilometers away, and they're going to find that injured fish and they're going to eat it. Like, we're open water fishing here, So, look, I don't think there's a shark problem. I just think there's more and more trailer boat fishermen that are engaging in, light game fishing, and they're coming across these sorts of things more often.
I reckon the very first time I went to Portland with my boat, probably a good 10 years ago, I had exactly that happen. We hooked a bluefin, fought it for ages because we didn't know what we were doing.
A big one or a school one?
No, a school one. This
Yep.
is like back in the early days when you'd go to the Horseshoe and it was cold, and
Yep.
you'd eventually catch some tuna, probably smaller than the ones that we're catching at the moment.
Yep.
And yeah, we had a shark. A mako lopped the tail off one of our tuna, and then we flung out a little hunk of meat and we hooked the shark. So
Yeah, right.
it happens fairly often, Joe.
Yeah, I bet.
So we're going to get more and more interactions with these sharks, I believe. We've seen a big inundation in both our bays and ports this year as the bronze whalers come in to lay their pups. I've noticed in Port Phillip recently, I've been traversing in the ferry a few times. So I've been watching out the water, and there's always a lot of feed, gannets, dolphins, seals, and all that sort of stuff going on. So lots of bait in our systems.
Look, I remember for years you would see it on Channel 7, the mainstream news, that in the warm February waters, you would have large bronze whalers come into the shallows of places like Rye and down that southern end of the peninsula. So I don't know. I tend to think it's just that's what happens every year, Dave.
And we didn't take much notice of it before, you think? Or there's more people fishing?
Well, I just think it's just something that's like, I know bronzies come in quite often. Like, how dangerous would you rate a bronzy?
Not very, but do you remember last year there was a bit of a story from, I think it was Portsea Pier, of some divers getting harassed by an aggro bronze whaler?
No, I didn't hear that one.
Oh, I wish
Do
I
you
could
recall
find it. Maybe you can Google it up while we're chatting.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a group of divers that got basically chased out of the water by an angry, probably a mama bronze whaler.
Oh, yeah?
If
No,
you-
it's going to be too hard to find because there's lots of, I reckon there's been a lot of shark encounters since.
There has been, especially even the other day when we all got evacuated from Sorrento because of the bronze whaler great white.
Yeah.
Started off as a great white, turned out to be a half.
Someone really pulled the ripcord too quickly on that one.
Someone had a bit of a panic there.
Can I do a King Kong, Donkey Kong while you're doing that there?
Yeah, go.
All right. Well, before we went live tonight, we're thinking about who is worthy of King Kong, Donkey Kong catch of the week. And I said to Dave, look, I reckon it needs to go to...
Hang on.
You're going to ring the bell.
Which one is it?
It's the red button.
I'm doing it.
Okay.
King Kong, Donkey Kong, mate. Look.
All right. Dave's rung the bell. And this week I'm giving it to a post from the Ulladulla Game Fishing Club. And they caught this huge sailfish. Have a look at that.
That's crazy. Is it $1?
Well, they put the post up. I'm not too sure exactly where it was caught, but yeah, have a look at that. One sailfish tagged. It's an absolute beast.
It's unusual, but did you know there's actually been a few sailfish caught land-based off the tubes, which is the famous game fishing spot at Jarvis Bay, Joe?
Yes, I do. There's a famous game fishing DVD about Marlin off the rocks.
Is it
Oh,
Bill
there's
Rage?
something off the rocks.
Yeah, Bill Rage, Marlin off the rocks.
Oh,
Off the
okay.
rocks, I'm pretty sure it's called.
Well, yeah, there's an amazing rock fishing spot in Jarvis Bay, as Dave correctly pointed out. And yeah, but have a look. That is a big sailfish. Normally,
You'd whack some fillets off that, wouldn't you?
well, according to the Rex Hunt's Fishing World book.
No.
No, I'll just tell you very, very quickly. According to my favorite of all time book, Rex Hunt's
If
Fishing
anyone
World.
wishes to turn off the stream now, I don't.
No.
Oh, look at the numbers plummeting.
No, it's fine. It's a sailfish, as per Rex Hunt on his catch chart there. He gives it 5 hooks there, meaning they're great to catch, but no chef's hats. So Rex Hunt says sailfish, no bueno to eat. That's all I wanted to cover,
No
Dave.
good. I don't believe that.
No good to eat. So, there you go. But yeah, that sailfish from Ulladulla GFC put that post up, a really, really big one. Normally, I see a lot of anglers, they travel to places like Malaysia, I believe, and Thailand. And, during the sailfish season, you can go out on a charter operator there and catch, 10, 20, 30 sailfish in one day, all sort of in that, 60, 50, 70 kilo range. But gee, like this sailfish up on this picture here, it's got to be, it's bigger than 70 kilos, I reckon, Dave.
Yeah, it's a big dog.
Yeah.
70? Oh, no, I wouldn't say that. No,
reckon
you've gone overboard there.
You reckon it's just held close to the camera? Let's be honest. If you want to take a good picture of a fish,
they're wafer thin, those sailfish, Joe. If you turn that on its side, you wouldn't see anything. It would just be like a line.
yeah. Okay.
They're like 2D.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Are you following what I'm putting down here?
Yeah. But you're saying billfish are wafer thin, and to be careful with the weights that you call. That's fair enough.
That's okay. Thank you for summing that up. Thank you for a few of the lovely comments there. Love our work. Really appreciate it.
Sandbar Slayers come hot in the live chat. Hey guys, are the Kingies going at Hastings?
We will be killed even for Joe reading that out.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, Kingfish Mafia is going to get us.
Oh, I thought it was Kingies off the pier, but I was sort of trying to dodge that camera to read the chat properly.
By the time you read it, you were too far gone.
That's exactly what's happened.
No, there's we haven't been, but the reports coming out of the region have slowed. But I'd say with quite a high degree of confidence, they'd be there somewhere. There you go.
Look, the water's quite warm. These fish could be there for months, but there are days where they switch on and they switch on and off. They're not easy. We had one Jason Taylor on a couple of weeks ago mentioning about kingfish tagging. There definitely is a limited amount of these spectacular fish that do come, close into Victorian waters. So you have to be exceptionally lucky to catch a kingy so close to the land.
Can I put out a bit of a shout out here, Joe?
Sure.
If there's anyone that listens to our podcast that is a fan of throwing fluff on a fly rod setup, you probably dress a lot like Joseph is now. Does anyone have a fly setup or wants to sell a fly fishing setup to us capable of catching tuna? Because that's my goal for the season, Joe.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
I want to I'll probably grab one of your thongs on the way out and I'm going to cut like a popper out of it. I want to catch one on a fly.
What's the weight? 8 weight line, because you're going to need heavy line for saltwater fly to really flick that little flea of a fly out onto the tuna. You're gonna have to position the boat exceptionally close to those tuna.
Where'd you pull 8 weight from?
I don't know.
Do you know things about fly fishing, or are you just pretending?
I thought I saw a social media post this week that somebody had caught one down the west coast. Oh, I think I can find it. Just keep talking.
No, but do you actually know what the references are in poundage and weights and things?
No, I don't. I'm just recanting what I think I saw online.
Because I was impressed for a moment. Is it just because you have that shirt on that all of a sudden you were filled with fly fishing knowledge?
Yeah, it was like 8 weight saltwater. It's amazing superpowers this fly fisher shirt's got.
It's missing a top button by the looks of it.
Oh, no, I'm just fat.
Oh, okay. Just showing off the chest. But the thing about the fly fishing thing is that I don't want anyone to show me how to do it.
There you go, Davey. Richardson Marine posted 5 days ago. Edward Jacobs with a lovely local tuna taken this week on an 8 weight fly rod.
And look, he's got your shirt on in a nice turquoise sort of blue type
A
colour.
good effort on the light gear. So there you go. There you go, Dave. I'll just zoom in. Yeah, that is what you're going to need, my friend.
Ooh. There you go. But yeah, the thing is, I've got
You're really enjoying this live interaction.
I am.
On your screen.
I've got about a day, half a day when I was about 12 years old of fly fishing experience, and that's going to be enough for me, I think, to catch a bluefin. I want to kind of like suck at it, and then that'll make it all the funnier when I
reckon we
eventually
could
succeed.
even go and practice. Like we're down.
No practicing.
We could go to like Devil Bend Reservoir or something,
No,
like somewhere local and practice on the little fish. No, we don't need practice. Let's be arrogant pigs and just go straight on them.
Panos the Slayer saying the moon phases are good for sharks. Is it a full moon?
Yeah,
It is. Oh, there you go. Is
well,
it actually?
the lead up? The
I
lead
can
up
probably
to
tell you actually.
Oh,
I've got it open right here.
you do.
No,
Let's
it's
have
not
a look.
it's not a full moon.
Let's have a look at the current moon cycle.
There you go.
What would you
It's a
call
wa-
that?
it's a waning.
It's a waning.
Is it a waning gibbous?
I was about to say that waning gibbous. Yeah,
Sounds about right.
and then when
it's an 8-weight gibbous.
and then when the moon is illuminating, it's a waxing gibbous. Waxing and waning, is that the moon?
That's right,
phase?
Joe. That is right.
Fantastic.
Absolutely beau've
Yeah,
And,
this fly fishing shirt really is giving me
we-
superpowers.
we've got a couple of comments there, which I can barely see through the GoPro. Rodney's written something interesting. Oh, good work, lads. Friend of ours caught a 30-kilo sailfish off Tathra. How do you say it, Joe? Tathra?
Tathra.
Back in the 1990s on a rubber Murray cod lure, of all things. There you go.
Mm.
I've been casting rats at tuna.
Have you got one on a rat yet?
Nah, it's
Or a duck?
no. My whole issue with the rat is I think it's very hard to cast, but also I think it looks too much like a mutton bird. I think they just think it's another mutton bird pecking around at them.
You know what I'm going to try next time we're on the tuna fields? I'm going to try and catch a tuna with a cube of cheese.
A tuna with cheese?
A tuna with a cube of cheese.
I feel like we're getting a bit disrespectful to the tuna. We're just thinking of dumb ways we can catch them.
It was like really treat them like a Murray cod. Like they love tasty cheese, like a nice cube. Do you reckon?
Well, probably not. Maybe if you carved it into a lure shape, it might work.
Yeah. Very good.
Now, I've purposely not given you any time to prepare for this, but I just wanted a quick comment, Joe. What do you think of the current fuel prices?
Oh, it's about $2.19 a litre for unleaded in from the best part that I can have a look. But gee, they really gouge you like on the weekends. So usually midweek is a good time to get petrol, but not this week. It's expensive.
Well, apparently the fuel tax has gone up, is what I heard. It's gone up another rung.
Well,
we might be.
the RBA kept interest rates on hold again this week. So apparently inflation is starting to come down. So hopefully that's a sign of good things to come.
Thankfully, I don't have to like fill up the fuel tanks of like a 50-foot Maritimo, for example, or anything like that. That'd be absolutely horrific.
It would cost quite the penny.
So there you go. Very interesting. We want to have a quick look at some fishing reports, Joey.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Hey!
Welcome to the Hookup, where we go around Australia and indeed the world for the freshest fishing reports. All right, so these are reasonably generalised, some of these. We've already spoken at great length about the fantastic marlin fishing we've had up off Bateman's Bay in particular.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been reports coming out of there, Bermagui, Tathra, and as far down as Malakuta, I believe, Joey. Oh, and even Lakes. We'll throw that in there too with that one caught on the deep drop. So the marlin season, as Richie has said, looks like it could be an absolute cracker.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like next week's going to be fantastic as well. But as we mentioned before, we had Chris Cassar Fishing Charters. If you want a Mako shark, book a tuna trip with me. Can't get away from them every season. Mr. Mako thought it was a good idea to bite our tuna in half until he got hit with instant karma train. The instant karma train. Flake for dinner at Cassar Fishing Charters. Love that.
You think he let that shark go?
No, I don't think he let that shark go. It's
Okay, I wasn't sure.
definitely there's two blokes holding it, and it's
The-
strewn across their
The caption
laps.
was ambiguous, so I wasn't sure.
Okay, it's fair enough.
I have hit up good friend Simon Webster, Joe. Remember the good old Webby East Gippsland fishing reports?
Oh yeah, the mayor of the East.
I'm bringing
himself.
him back.
Oh, okay, cool.
He has centers in one, and it's an absolute ripper.
Yep.
The Gippy report. Offshore lakes starting to pick up a little with a few snapper in the 5 to 6 kilo range starting to turn up. Still long hours needed to be put in to get these larger fish. Bit of an algal bloom close to shore, but not seeming to affect the fishing too much. And actually, the algal bloom created some really cool phosphorescence in the water. I saw a video from Simon of the ocean glowing on his way out fishing recently.
Yep.
Water temps currently between 19.5 and 20.5, a little bit wider. A few players starting to turn up for this year's sword season. Have not seen one turn up yet at Lake Scantry, but a marlin was brought in, caught while deep dropping, as we mentioned earlier. Anglers venturing to Central Block, which is where all the oil rigs are, looking for marlin with the warm water rolling in, and currently not much bait being seen in that region. But there is some better bait inshore, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Tuna have gone quiet around Port Albert and Welshpool with very green water seen last week. Still a huge crowd fishing for kings around the islands.
Oh, wow. It's just been relentless, hasn't it?
And whopping them, I believe. Womping even. Tuna have gone, I just read that. In the Gippsland Lakes and Lake Tyres, big flathead have been taking surface lures on the flats, with bent minnows being a popular choice to target them. ABT Gippy Lakes Brim Tournament on this weekend, so expect to see plenty of skinny boats with big donks and people with colourful shirts this weekend. I added the colourful shirts bit.
Oh, yeah. There'll be the Lycra Brigade will be out in full force.
So
do you wear Lycra when you brim fish, or do you wear the traditional shirt like what I'm wearing?
No, you got to be a human billboard for all your sponsors.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
My mistake.
Yeah, that's silly of you. So that is the Gippy report. Thank you very much, Simon. An absolute ripper.
I love it, Webby. And the great whites are on, according to Webby.
He's bagged out on great white.
Yes.
Actually, about a day after he caught that, there was a great white caught off the beach there. I said, "Is that your one?" He said, "Yes." Probably.
Wow.
Caught and released, might I add. So, yeah, that's your Gippsland report. Kingfish, as we just mentioned, Welshpool still producing. Portland producing some quite good fish as well.
Yeah.
Also, some tuna happening down there along with all the bottom species as well. Flathead in the East Gippsland region, which Simon's already covered. Big whiting. Here's one for you, Joe. Oh, you're already on it, mate.
Check it out.
You're bloody on fire tonight.
Lee Rayner, he writes in that he caught, I'll just read it. Sometimes it all works. I decided to stop chasing kings and go filming for big whiting. Big swell and dirty water paid off. Only 2 fish at 44 centimeters and the rest coming in, I don't believe that, 47 to 49 centimeters and one that went 51 centimeters. Most whitings that get to 50 centimeters, it is a kilo or pretty close to a kilo. I never thought I'd get a bag of fish like that on film in Victoria. Now, it's always hard to take a great picture with a whiting, but just being experienced with those fish, they are really chunky whiting that Lee's holding up in that picture.
They are very solid. You'd be surprised. I think there was a 50-something centimetre one weighed at Warneat that was 800 grams the other day.
Oh, right. Okay.
So a kilo one's a big fish.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, that's a bloody good effort. Lee loves his whiting and he's done quite well there, Joey.
I want whiting tacos again. I still haven't been able to get over them.
Oh, they're damn good.
Oh, man.
But get ready for 8 more months of tuna from now on.
Yeah. I'll be thinking of different tuna recipes, like how many more can we do? Actually, speaking of food, I did quite enjoy your recipe from last year. You made, I think your lovely
Wasabi
wife,
tuna
Maddie,
burgers.
wasabi tuna burgers. I think, was that Maddie?
Yeah, they're incredible. Madeline made them, yeah.
Yeah.
It's I'll put the recipe for that up in our Insta story later tonight, Joe, but
if you're getting sick of eating tuna, try these tuna wasabi burgers.
Man, it is insanely good. It's really good. I'll put the recipe up.
Yeah, lovely.
Something different. Anyway, a really current fishing report from Peter Ferguson today.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna.
You do your thing.
Yep,
and I'll start reading.
Start reading.
Quick report. SJ and Greg joined him today for 6 a.m. launch out of New Haven. Ran to the west for a look, even though his gut was saying east. Well, he went as far as Pyramid, and that was a waste of time. And then he went back the other direction towards Coal Point, sounded some nice marks, set the spread, and had a three-way hookup, one spitting the hooks quickly, and tangled another one and landed the third. Quick reset and another double, landed them both. And with that, they left that grounds, found some birds with fish under them and had a double hookup and lost them both. Ended up with 4 from 8 hookups. And then the fish started to sun themselves. He decided it was too hard and he went in.
There you go.
There you go.
Have a look just up on your screen there. There is his fish, and he's been really loving his Ray Marine sounder. Very impressed with it. Peter's been telling us, and up on your screen there, you can see the school tuna, how they're marking up. What do you think of those marks, Davey?
They're nice marks, Joe.
That's them.
That is them.
That is them.
They're quite if it is anything that a sounder should mark properly, it's these school fish. They're in shallow water, they're big targets, and they're sort of sitting mid water.
That's right. Well, that's my pro tip. Look, if it's overcast and you can't see tuna on the water, trust your electronics. This is probably what they're going to look like. Something like this. Every sounder is going to be slightly different, but exactly what Dave said. Single big targets in shallow water. That's how it should look.
Simon has asked any feedback on the San Remo fish and chips. I think we mentioned this last week, Joe.
Yeah, we did. No, that was fantastic. I think I've even got something of that. It was very, very good there. There we go. You can see it there. And we can see Dave.
You're really onto it tonight.
Yeah. This is easy. I've saved you so much work of having to pre-prepare.
I don't like it. I like it a lot. They were delicious. Anyway, Joe, I've got a kind of a new segment here.
Oh, really?
Tool of the week.
Tool of the week.
Good friends of the show have dobbed themselves in.
Uh-oh.
Suraj, who is watching tonight.
Yeah, what's he done this time?
Good friend Reese Kennedy.
Yeah.
In the rip, jigging for kings. Only thing is, allegedly, they jigged for some time with a jig that still had the little plastic sheath over the hook.
No.
So had they have had a bite, they were...
When did they hook up to go fishing?
When? That was on Saturday.
Right.
Yeah. So they were jigging away and they had the plastic little sheath over the hook. That is absolute amateur hour, boys.
Oh,
You've dobbed yourselves in and your tools of the week.
Oh, wow.
We'll have to make a jingle for that and probably change the name because it's copyrighted probably.
Can you, I'm really proud of Reese and Suraj. They've continued the kingfish legacy. They want to catch one. I think I got Reese's mouth watering the other week when I told him, man, I just want to eat some king again. And he was just absolutely drooling out the left side of his mouth when I said how delicious kingfish was. It's like chicken.
Both of you are quite food motivated, actually.
Food motivated. I like that. Yeah.
All right, quickly.
Yes.
Grinds your gears, Joe.
Okay.
I've nominated one
we
for
now
you.
go to Peter Griffin for You Know What Really Grinds My Gears.
Thanks, Tom. You know what really grinds my gears?
I've written it down for you.
Oh, you can go and say it.
Oh, okay. Well, it's last week you may have noticed we had technical difficulties. The live stream came to an abrupt halt. Luckily, we managed to keep the audio running, and that was put up at a later date. But we put in all this effort to live stream our podcast out to the world, and the network from Vodafone, the bastards, dropped out and cut our live stream short last week. So we do apologize to everyone. Joe's leaving already. See you, Joe. Good podcast, mate. We do apologize to everyone. And as a result, Joe is literally, I would have rated it if you hurled that through the fish tank in the background. Joe is literally smashing his Vodafone modem there. He's gone to Telstra. So we shouldn't have any issues anymore, everyone.
And that's the end of Mr. Vodafone.
He's acted very quickly and he's fixed the issue. Questions, Joe?
Yes, let's go straight to the questions. And I've got my new technology here, which I'm very, very excited about here.
We're going to run through those and then we are probably going to round up the show with that, with maybe a couple of
Yeah.
small announcements.
How do I do it again?
You go into
no.
the feed here.
Yep.
You go, back there. I'm doing it.
Why don't you hit me with your questions? Okay, here we go.
Commence reading.
Commence reading. Okay, we've got Borgs Fish Lures asking, when driving on fishing missions, radio on or off?
In the car?
Yep.
In the car?
I could be in the boat.
In the car, you got to have music going.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think everyone just goes through the like Spotify. And
Or you
stuff.
can put on Wind Against Tide and listen to our entire 104 episode back catalogue. That's what I'm going to say you should do.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, when you're driving either in the boat or the car, put some Wind Against Tide on, sit back, have a listen, and have a great time.
And just enjoy us having a ball. And we've got Boeli123. First time marlin fishers. Is it worth having a go by ourselves, or do we need to be taught first?
Well, you're talking to someone who likes to make life harder for themselves, because I believe it's very satisfying in the end. If you go up there, do all the research you can, and then put that marlin on the no, not on the deck. Get that marlin next to the boat of your own accord. That's going to be a very satisfying feeling. But on the other hand, if you're very time poor and you just want to bang one and you are still going to have a great time, and seek someone who's got more experience. That would be my...
Yeah, I'm just going to go the other way. First time marlin fishing, it's actually a very, very complicated sport. I would just be getting a group together and going out with Richard Abela. He's one of the best, and he'll absolutely give you his heart. Is what I'm quoted on fishing charters, that he just works so hard for his customers and he'll absolutely give you his heart.
I reckon I did probably about 12 to 15 trips up the coast before I caught my first marlin. And about 11 of those trips were probably in Victoria, where there was probably not really any marlin at that point. So
I've got similar numbers, Dave. Same here, mate. I reckon I've went about 10 or 11 or 12 times, and I actually haven't landed one. I've only been on board once, losing one.
There you go. So we did a lot of hard yards, and then when we finally got one, it was quite satisfying. We rammed a gaff straight in its head. You can see that. It's on New Fish TV. Me, Joshy, and Pawsey. And we're using like little Telica 12s, towing lures, doing everything wrong. We had about 7,000 bites for the day, and one of the idiots got the hook stuck in its bill long enough to get brought to the boat and murdered. So we got a lot of hate in the comments on that video, if I recall, for keeping that fish, and rightfully so.
Look,
nah,
it's okay every once in a while to harvest a marlin.
Yeah, no, it is. They're actually really nice.
Nothing wrong with them.
Best marlin I ever ate was at Eden Caravan Park with some Lebanese gentlemen were cooking it over the coals, salt, olive oil, and pepper, and it was absolutely incredible.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I really enjoyed it.
All right, Dave 164856 asks, bluefins sashimi, ? Fresh, frozen, how long ice fish, how long in the freezer, ? What's best?
I like to ice my fish down for like at least a day before I preferably before I even cut it up, but usually if you're in a hurry you sort of do it that night. But ice it down for a day or so, and then start hucking chunks off it. But I think you can actually have sushi from frozen tuna, Joe. I've never done it myself, but a lot of those tuna that come into the Japanese markets are actually snap frozen, and then they're sold as sushi. So
yeah,
definitely doable. Probably tastes good too.
Yeah, well, definitely. I think the flesh. I actually like your procedure with it. Dave's got these Tupperware containers that have got the plastic drip tray on it, and we take our pieces of fresh tuna and we place them in this Tupperware container with the plastic grates, and it kind of like dry ages them. And as the meat's getting cold, it's just leaching the blood out, and the blood sort of gathers in the bottom drip tray. And I reckon
drink it.
The day,
I mean, you pour it out.
I reckon about a day after being in the fridge, freshly caught, it makes absolutely beautiful sashimi. It firms up.
Paul Naylor's noticed that your phone's about to run out of battery.
No,
So
she'll be right. Yeah, all right. Well, moving right along then. Go-to food/snack during a good death spiral while on the boat. I find barbecue shapes brings the fish on. Well, I'm one to definitely say I definitely do some stress eating on the boat when the fishing's a little bit slow. I seem to just eat myself into a frenzy. I've changed.
If you stop, like just stop the boat and stop fishing and have a beautiful lunch, like roll or something, and we actually did this the other day, and then you just completely change tack and either chase a different species or come up with a new plan, you hit that afternoon with vengeance, don't you, Joe?
Oh, yeah.
You come at it like an absolute wrecking ball. You're reinvigorated and you life spiral and you catch fish. That's my advice. If you're really having a crap time, just stop, eat some food, and go again.
That's exactly right.
Any more
I like
questions?
that, yeah. Aussie or Wog sausages? That's from Steve Pro 74. Aussie or Wog sausages? That's a great question because we actually did eat sausages before coming on tonight's show.
What's the difference?
I can answer this question. So generally the Italian or the continental sausages, aka Wog sausages, they're usually pork sausages with like bits of chili and peppercorn in them. They're actually delicious, Davey. That's just got me in the mood all of a sudden. And then Aussie sausages is just your plain beef sausage mince, regular that's floor sweepings.
More flavor better, I say. Wog sausages all the way, Joe.
Yep, lovely. I got to get, and they're usually chili flavored as too. I'm going to get some for next time. Thanks for that, Steve. That's a great suggestion.
Is that all we've got this evening?
No, that's what we've got.
Absolute ripper.
So they've just been hit with their questions. Very good.
Well, it's been a great turnout tonight. Thank you, everyone, for your contributions.
It's been a good show. I've had fun.
You may have noticed if Joey flicks to our end screen there's a little addition. We have got the support of the best rod and reel manufacturer in the world on board, Shimano. So the gentlemen at Shimano are going to be more of a part of Winning Inside from now on, which is awesome. We've always used Shimano gear, so nothing's really going to change there. But a big thank you to those guys for seeing the potential of the podcast, and we really appreciate the support. So good on you, lads. Have fun over there in Japan on your junket.
Yeah, it's definitely partnering up with Shimano Australia is going to help us bring a better product to you guys. We're going to be further connected into the fishing world, and we're going to bring you some great content for later on in the year. We've got a few ripping things planned for later on. Actually, we should have a meeting after this pod.
We should, because we have ground a lot of the gears on our rods and reels into an absolute pulp. So we do need some new ones.
Dave's Tiagras are ground to the hubs. The gears have been ground to the bare hubs.
That's it. I am going to sign off here and leave everyone who's there in the live feed chat still talking amongst themselves. There's some good conversation going on. So thanks, guys, for spending your Wednesday evening with us, and we'll be back next week. Have a bloody ripper. And if you're out on the water this weekend, good luck and have fun. Be safe.
We'll catch you next week. The weather's looking a little bit more kinder, so there should be heaps of fishing to be had later on. So have an awesome week, guys, and we'll see you all next time.
Ciao.